Hey beautiful people, this video is about promises kept. I did a previous video on promises made and promises kept, and I want to extend that and sort of dive into how keeping promises is actually a really critical foundational element of high functioning teams. And if you interview people on high functioning teams, they will talk about trust and they will talk about relying on others. And the foundation for that is promises. And promises are what allow us to be able to build the trust, and they're what allow us to be able to rely on others. So let's do a deeper dive into that so you can begin to see it as a foundational element as you yourself start either wanting to build a high functioning team, wanting to understand how to identify one if you're thinking of joining a new team, or want to be able to transition your own team that you're currently on that you're not delighted with into a team that has a higher level of functioning. And it doesn't matter the size of your team. Your team can be 3 people and you can begin to put this into practice, or it can be 1,000 people and you can put it into practice. Obviously, one happens faster than the other. So let's explore the idea of keeping promises as the real engine of execution. I always visualize it as a relay race where we are handing the baton to each other. Now, the problem with that is when we think about promises, we think about handoffs and we think about downstream dependencies. And what we miss in the way that we think about it is we're missing the opportunity to actually recognize the human in the middle of it. And I write about human innovation and talk about human innovation, and I've written a best-selling book called The Innovation Mindset where I dive more into that. But when we miss the human element of it, we miss really the engine of innovation that exists inside all of us and inside our companies and our teams. So if we think about the engine of execution being promises, then we're saying it's not about extra effort. It's not about those long grinding hours. It's not about tools. It's not about meetings. It's really about promises kept, promises made, promises repaired. And as we do that, our trust builds and our capacity grows and our performance accelerates. So let me talk more about that to substantiate some of what I've just said. Let's talk first of all around why promises are important, and why am I even talking about promises when I'm talking about high functioning teams and effective teams. So when we think about execution on projects, about getting stuff done on projects, about why we brought the project together in the first place because we had this big goal that we were pursuing. We have a choice once we bring a team together to deliver on something. We can either rely on the individual talent on the team, and I refer to that in another video as the myth of talent, thinking that the talent itself is enough to be able to get us over the finish line. Or we can actually take a step back before we even start building the team, before we assemble the team. We can look at how is this team going to execute? What are we expecting of this team? If you're the team lead, how are we going to support that team in delivering excellence? What practices are we going to bring in place? Now, lots of times what we'll do when we assemble teams is we'll go immediately to the tools. But what I have found is that the tools bring their own interpretations, bring their own expectations and their own common sense and their own practices. And you've got to be careful about what you're onboarding there because they may not be totally in alignment with the sort of team that you're looking to build. I have yet to find effective tools that allow me to be able to do what I want to do with my teams, which is to create them on a foundation of trust and promises. So every project, every team, every role is really built around a network of promises or a network of commitments that we make to each other. So I could not be here today delivering this video to you if I didn't have a team of people around me who had made commitments to me, who are helping me do this for you. Every single movement that we make in the world as human beings requires that we have commitments from other people to be able to deliver successfully on them. I did not make my own clothes. I did not generate my own shampoo. I did not make my own soap. I do not make my own shoes. There are people who have supported me in getting here and showing up, looking hopefully semi-respectable with decent clothes on. And when we start thinking about that, we think about it in terms of a project, we can begin to recognize that there are networks of these commitments that people make to each other throughout the duration of a project in order for work to be done effectively. That network of commitments contains very important promises that people make to each other for work to be done. Now, if we're working in the traditional way of managing projects and delivering on projects, we tend to make that synonymous with tasks. And in doing that, what we're doing is we are saying effectively that there is someone at the top who knows all the tasks that need to be done for a project to happen. I mean, bless them, because I don't think anyone knows that today. Our world has gotten so incredibly sophisticated and complex, with fantastic benefit for all of us, right? But it is incredibly sophisticated and complex, and we have made it that way. And we have also initiated projects that have big ambitions and big goals and that are very sophisticated and very complex in of themselves. And if we understand that that complexity requires a level of human agility and human innovation, then we actually begin to go, maybe the idea that someone has all the answers to everything that needs to be done, and we can put them down into a nice chart, and we can put them into a Gantt chart, and we can put them into a project plan, and we can put them into a Jira task list. Maybe that might not be a really great belief to be carrying around with us. Maybe instead, if we shifted to the understanding that we are working in highly complex, highly adaptive systems with highly agile human beings, and I'm not talking about specifically about agile project management, although that has a lot of positive ideas associated with it. I'm talking about human beings' agility, human beings' ability to be able to move and shift and change relatively quickly. If we understand that, we can begin to understand that projects are actually networks of these promises, and that those promises are, think about it like Russian dolls. There might be a higher level promise and another half a dozen promises that fit in under that, and another half a dozen promises that fit in under that. So they will have a cascade of promises that need to be delivered for any particular phase of the project or for the overall success of the project. So if promises are so foundational to what it is that we're looking to do on a project, we need to create an environment where people can make them. We need to create an environment where just paying someone's salary does not automatically, we recognize that paying someone's salary does not automatically mean that they are going to make promises and deliver on promises consistently all of the time. So what does it mean to make and keep a promise? Is that you're going to complete what you agreed to. And I mean what you agreed to. I don't mean what you were assigned to do. I mean what you agreed to, what you understood, what you had a shared interpretation around, what you in your mind's eye could see what it was that needed to be done, or you could see who you needed to talk to ask for help or support or parts of the project to be executed on. That you are the person who gets to the point with a particular piece of work where you can stand up and say it's done. I believe that I have done it to the satisfaction of the customer. Where you have a conversation with the customer through whatever mechanism, and I don't mean checking a box, I mean there's some connection that happens between you where the customer is able to go, I recognize that you declared that it was done, I am satisfied, or I recognized you declared that it was done, but you missed this, this, and this. Can you either go back and complete it, or can we make sure that next time you do it, that gets incorporated into what it is that you're doing? And so that we set up constant learning and feedback loops, because we're working in complex adaptive systems. We ourselves need to be leveraging our own capability to be adaptive and to learn and to have feedback loops. And the other thing with promises is you create an environment where it's okay when you declare complete for something to not be complete in the eyes of the customer. It might be complete in your eyes, it may not be complete in the eyes of the customer. It's absolutely essential that we're able to create an environment where that level of reflection and repair is almost automatic. It's a conversation that we constantly have. Nobody is afraid to have that conversation. Nobody feels threatened in that conversation. It's just a normal part of doing business where we can actually learn how to calibrate with each other and also learn how to be able to understand the customer's perspective, interpretations, desires and ambitions with regards to the success of the project. And we build and growing understanding of what that is. And we do something that I consider to be the most important thing, particularly when it comes to innovation, is we're be able to bring the customer's mastery and our own mastery, which can sometimes be very different. Just because the customer is your boss does not mean that they can do your job. I have had many people working for me where they were a lot better than I was at a vast number of things. And if I wasn't able to recognize that, I was making them less intelligent by thinking that I had all the answers and I knew everything they needed to do. That co-invention, where we're bringing one person's mastery together with another's, and we are doing a shared understanding of what it's going to take to deliver satisfaction. That's when we really begin to help people understand how they can grow together and how they can learn from each other. So I started off with talking about promises kept, and I've introduced you to a very simple idea that the promises are the foundation of a project, and I've dived into a deeper understanding of the absolutely critical foundational element of projects that create the key building block for highly functional, highly effective teams. If you want to know more about that and you want to understand this in the bigger context of project execution, I have a free white paper that I think will be valuable for you. It's under www.jenniferkenny.com/execution, and it's also available in the comments below. There's a link in the comments below. When you have a look at it, let me know what you think about it. Let me know what this provokes for you. Let me know how this way of thinking about the cornerstone element of a project not being a task but actually being a promise, and what that might mean for you on the teams that you're looking to transform, the teams you're looking to lead, the teams you're looking to join, the teams you've been on. I am deeply supportive of anyone who wants to work on a high functioning team and really have that joy and pleasure and feeling of accomplishment and success. I hope you're one of those people, and if you are, I hope these videos help you, and I wish you the absolute best of luck. It's a privilege to be able to work on one of those kind of teams. Good luck and take care.